that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Margot Robbie has shown she has a bit of a talent for taking an old IP and turning it into a modern expression of it and really kill it. She did it with Barbie. And now, according to reports, this comes to us from Coming Soon, Margot Robbie is now set to star in the remake of the beloved sci-fi movie Attack of the 50-Foot Woman that apparently Tim Burton has been planning on making for a while. So now all the reports are saying that Margot Robbie is going to be starring in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. She's also going to be producing the film, and that Tim Burton will be directing. Now, I've seen some people talking around online saying Tim Burton has debunked that he's directing this. No, he did not. What Tim Burton said was, he said, I'm not going to say I'm directing a movie until I'm on set directing it, because I've had a number of projects that I worked on for over a year and then never directed it, got taken away from me. That was not him debunking that he's doing Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. He's just saying, I'm not going to say I'm directing it until I'm on set and we're actually shooting the movie, which is understandable. The death of Superman lives what happened, sort of thing. So that's understandable. So it'll be doing it with Tim Burton. It'll be making this movie. All right. I don't like this. I don't think anybody anywhere is going to have any interest in this film.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. Like on any real scale, I don't think there's going to be any interest in this. I've never heard one person write into my show over the course of the 20 years that I've been doing it saying, you know what we really need? Another Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. What was that animated superhero movie they did where aliens versus something and they had like the giant woman in it? What, guys in the live chat, what was the name of that animated film? I'm freezing on it now. Somebody in the live chat is going to remember it. Anyway, Monsters versus Aliens. That was it. Thank you, Joseph SFL was the first one to do that. So you kind of had a rendition of that. I'm a little confused by somebody like Margot Robbie coming off of the biggest box office hit of the year, Oscar attention, all this kind of stuff. I do not see the appeal of this. I don't. Now, this is a good time for me to fully acknowledge and admit that, God, she is stunning, isn't she?
Yes,
to fully
she
acknowledge
certainly
and
is.
admit that I also didn't have all the faith in the world that Barbie would have all that much attention. And as I've already mentioned, it went on to be the most successful film of the year that it came out. But again, I just don't see there being a large audience going, yeah, Tim Burton, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, sign me up. I'm a little perplexed by this decision, to be honest with you. I don't know that it'll sell today the way that it did before. But I would be more than happy to be proved wrong about this. Anyway, Rob, I mean, look, any filmophile has a special place in their heart for Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. But do you think there'd be interest for a modern retelling of it today? What do you think?
Well, I'm interested in a 50-foot Margot Robbie, if you know what I'm saying. No, but, you know, they did remake Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. I just checked the date.
In the 90s?
In 93 with Daryl Hannah playing the 50-foot woman.
Right. I totally forgot about that.
Look, I think, as always, I mean, you go into a studio executive's office. Yes, this is an IP we could bring back from the dead. I mean, you know, it's an absurd idea. However, like you pointed out with Barbie, it all comes down to the execution.
Yeah.
And even with Tim Burton directing, that could be either hit or miss. And I think that the way that they took this Barbie movie and turned it into a really interesting, it had a lot of social commentary. It was a lot of fun. It knew exactly what it was. I think Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig did a great job crafting a script out of what could have been hot garbage. And again, I would be curious to see what comes of this. Now, it could be a total disaster, and you could be right, like, who's going to have interest in this? But if they do something that has something to do with the modern age and incorporate our social media drenched world or something in it the same way that Barbie exceeded any expectations I would have had, I think it could be fun. You know, I mean, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, it better be fun, because I don't want a Sophie's Choice version of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. I want something that, I mean, this artwork, this is the original key art, the one sheet. It's one of the most famous.
Oh, one of the most
Like
famous
50s
ever. In history,
ever.
yeah.
And it makes me want to be one of those guys running on that freeway. If you look at the whole poster, I'm just saying. But I'm in on this one.
Now, look,
make it good.
I'm also going to go sacrilege here because I know people hate it. I'm not a big Tim Burton fan.
Right.
He definitely
He's very hit and miss.
He definitely has a couple of films I absolutely love. He absolutely does. But when I look down, here's the last number of things that he's directed. Beetlejuice, which I know a lot of people liked, but quite frankly, I don't know what you were watching. A lot of people liked it, and I acknowledge that, and I'm glad they did, but I did not think it was that strong. I really didn't think it was all that good. People love Wednesday. Gotta give him that. People love Wednesday, and they're really looking forward to it too. Then before that, he did Dumbo, which wasn't terrible,
but
it was not all that good. Before that, he did Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which was a neat idea, but not very good. Before that, he did Big Eyes, which was interesting.
I like Big Eyes.
I didn't think it was great, but it was okay.
It was about a real story.
Then before that, he did Frankenweenie, which was okay. Then before that, he did Dark Shadows, which I didn't think was very good. I mean, again, it's practically sacrilege in this town to say anything other than Tim Burton is one of the greats of all time. But I just don't see that being one of the selling features to get me excited about this either. So, I mean, I don't know.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, it feels like workplace stress is higher than ever these days, and I was just reading that about 61% of the global workforce is dealing with above normal levels of stress, and honestly, it's not surprising. When you're stuck in endless Zoom meetings, juggling deadlines, or just trying to keep your head above water, it adds up. Now sure, a quick vacation sounds nice, but let's be real, it's not a long-term fix. What's helped me is building small wellness habits. For me, it's things like getting outside in the sun for a few minutes, or squeezing in a brisk walk during breaks. But for a lot of people, sometimes that's just not enough, and that's where therapy can really help. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 therapists who've already helped over 5 million people worldwide. Their app is super convenient. You can meet with a therapist with just a click, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime. And just listen to the user reviews. The BetterHelp app has a 4.9 out of 5 from over 1.7 million reviews. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea.
I'm with you. I mean, look, my favorite movie that Tim Burton directed was Ed Wood. Oh. I love Ed Wood. You know, it's an incredible film. I think I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I love
Sweeney Todd.
I loved the first
Sweeney Todd's
Beetlejuice.
great.
Yes, but an adaptation of a play. But
Batman,
Beetlejuice,
Pee-wee.
even I like Batman Returns, but his stuff he's very very hit and miss. You know, Tim Burton has the soul of an animator.
He really does.
And if you go back and you look at like two of the greatest animated shorts ever are, well, Frankenweenie's live action, but Vincent is one of the great live action. Vincent's one of the great animated shorts ever made of all time.
I remember watching that as a child. It was running like randomly on, this is going back to the 80s, on the Disney Channel. And you know, there's certain points in your childhood where you see something and it like affects you on a different level. It almost spooks you in a way. Not like, oh, this is spooky, but like it spooks your psyche in a way, and it lingers with you. And then you're like, I don't know what that was that I saw as a child, but for years I was like, what was that I saw, until I learned about directors and then his work, and I was like, it was that.
No, it especially because Vincent Price, and it was like, if you're what they call a monster kid, that was probably the most affecting animated short ever. And then the Frankenweenie live action that the feature was based on, that short film is incredible. It's so good. But again, those ideas were so great in where they existed. And Beetlejuice, his collaboration with Rick Heinrichs, Beetlejuice was a perfect example of taking his animated sensibility and putting it into live action. I mean, that film is. And then you go to Edward Scissorhands, same kind of thing. And
some of his animated stuff, like his animated features, are like incredible.
Oh, at Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's been a while since he's done something that I've really liked.
It's funny to me because the best Tim Burton things are the things that came out of his imagination, where he loved Dark Shadows, the show, growing up, but it wasn't from him. You know, and A Big Fish is another great Tim Burton movie. And I think that Ed Wood is such a great movie with such a great cast, but it even that movie feeds into his sensibilities. I think that Tim Burton, when he's working within his sensibilities, he's great.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? According to reports, Margot Robbie is going to be starring in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman remake, directed apparently by Tim. I almost said Robbins.
Burton.
Tim Burton. Why did I freeze on Tim Burton for a second? Anyway, guys, I got to admit, I don't see the appeal, and I don't think this is a great idea. But we've seen some films that I didn't think were such great ideas that I ended up loving and were fantastic. I don't know. How are you feeling about it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.